I love what we're seeing right now.
No other team can compare. No other fan base is louder.
Who dat? Who dat?
And as Who Dat Nation rises from heartbreak towards glory, no other colors are bolder. WDSU's Saints on 6 Black and Gold preview starts now with analysis that can't be done any other way.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the special WDSU Saints on 6 2019 Black and Gold preview. I'm Fletcher Mackel, alongside my colleague, WDSU sports anchor Sharif Ishak. He is former Saints head coach Jim Mora, and he is former Saints team captain Roman Harper.
All right, Jim, how fired up are you for this season?
I'm really fired up, Sharif. I'll tell you why. I thought they were the best team in the league last year. This year they had a great offseason, didn't do anything to really get worse than last year. They got chances to get better. I think barring injuries or something like that, they got a chance to win it all.
All right, Roman, last time we saw you was inside this building when they lost to the Rams in the NFC Championship game, and you took that loss like you're one of the players.
Well, personally, I know so many of these guys on this team, and I've been here for so long, the coaching staff, the players, all together, it's like one big family. And you know, having a tough loss, nobody thought they'd get to the NFC Championship again. After having a tough loss against Minnesota, they come back. Now they have another tough loss against the Rams last year. We're going to see how this team, they can only get better from here. The sky's the limit, and they're on the clock. This year has to make it, they have to have it done this year.
All right, but before we talk about 2019, Roman alluded to it, 2 tough losses. We do have to talk about 2017 and 2018 as well.
After the Minnesota Miracle and the Nola no call, can the Saints bounce back again and remain relevant when it comes to dominant teams in the NFC? Some in the national media believe the answer to that question is no.
I think getting bounced from the playoffs in dramatic fashion the way they did 2 years in a row, I think we're going to see a severe hangover this season.
Good news, though, the Las Vegas odds makers disagree with that assessment. The Saints are one of the odds-on favorites to win Super Bowl 54. And if they get back to the big game, they'll need Drew Brees to play like he did in the first 11 games of 2018, when he threw 29 touchdown passes and had just 2 interceptions. Over the final 6 games, including the playoffs, Brees and the Saints offense struggled a bit, producing just 7 touchdowns and 5 interceptions.
All right, Jim, let's talk more about Drew Brees. For years, people have been talking about his arm strength and his age. Does any of that matter to you?
No, because I don't think there's any problem with it. I don't think it's any less than what it was a few years ago. I mean, this is a guy that keeps himself in great physical condition. He doesn't get hurt, hasn't been hurt. He gets great protection by his offensive line. Forget the age, forget the decline in arm strength. I don't see the difference in him. I think he's as physically able to compete and play and win as he was 4 or 5 years ago. And he's still doing it. Mentally, he's into it, and he's around a very, very, very good football team.
All right, good answer, Coach. For more on the Black and Gold and this team in general, let's send things over to Sharif and Roman.
All right, thanks a lot, Fletcher. Final year for Drew Brees' contract, and eventually the Saints are going to have to pay some of those young guys. So, is this year the year to win for the Saints?
It has to be. All right, you got Drew Brees, now he's above 40 years old. Next year, at the end of January, he'll be 41 by the time the playoffs hit. You have to win right now. Not only that, but you got key guys in key positions all about to come up on their contracts. You have other people that needed contract money this year, and you have guys that are coming in the future. The Saints have a lot on their plate. They must win now to capitalize on just the perfect timing of it. Young guys coming into their veteran type of deals, and also veteran leadership really starting to come into their own and playing at that type of level that you expect them to be.
All right, Roman, good news for the Saints. No new coaches on offense and defense, but they do have some new players on both sides of the ball. And for more on those guys, we send it over to Carly McCord.
Thank you, Sharif. Well, when talking about replacing Saints from last year that were huge contributors, without a doubt, the biggest one is going to be center Max Unger, after the Pro Bowler surprisingly decided to retire when being a huge staple and key contributor to that offensive line, complementing Drew Brees and his offense. The Saints have 2 players who are competing for the starting center position, starting with Eric McCoy, their draft pick out of Texas A&M. Also free agent Nick Easton, who they signed from the Minnesota Vikings this offseason. Another huge addition for the Black and Gold was signing veteran tight end Jared Cook, who will be a huge addition to this team after losing veteran Ben Watson.
This is the best part now. with camp going on, to getting to know your teammates and us just learning each other, spending the most time together, and that's imperative. And that's the only way we're going to do it, is to be able to talk to each other, grow a day at a time, and just stay in each other's ear and communicate. So it's going well. You know, Drew's very vocal, and I think that's really good, and it makes it easy. So it's going well, and we're just going to keep getting better at it.
Well, the Saints are returning home to the Dome to open up the regular season September 9th against the Houston Texans. And the first 4 games of the season for them are going to be extremely challenging, facing 4 playoff teams from last season. And before we send it back over to Jim and Roman to hear what they have to say, let's go ahead and check in with our colleagues from around the NFL.
Hello from Houston, I'm Lainey Fritz, and here's what you need to know about this 2019 Texans team. I'll start with the new look secondary. No Tyrann Mathieu, no Kareem Jackson. Instead, it's Deshaun Gibson, Bradley Roby, who brings a little more speed, and draft pick Lonnie Johnson, who they're hoping can be an X factor. Last season, the Texans offensive line was the worst in the NFL. I fully expect that to change this year. They drafted 2 offensive linemen they feel good about, and I just don't see Deshaun Watson being sacked 62 times again this season. And that leads me to the most obvious thing about this Texans squad, Deshaun Watson, a rare talent. He's going into his 3rd season fully healthy, and he's got the best target in the NFL in DeAndre Hopkins. So I think you can expect to see major growth from him in 2019.
Hey, Cole right here in Studio 66 at NFL Network in the heart of Los Angeles, the home of the Los Angeles Rams. And here's what you need to know about the 2019 installment of that greatest show on surf. 1, Aaron Donald. Obvious choice. Bull in a china shop. 2018, 20.5 sacks, led the league. He's as good as it gets. But what do we really need to know? Well, that Rams offense, they were top 5 in pretty much every category that mattered. You look at points per game, total yards per game, and big plays. They are a dangerous bunch. So Saints defense, forewarned is fair warned. I believe in you. You're up for the task.
I'm Mike Ferrari with Como Sports in Seattle. The big concern right now in training camp for the Seahawks is their defensive line. They will not have Jarran Reed for the first 6 games of the season after he was suspended this past week by the NFL. They're going to look to veterans like Quentin Jefferson and the newly signed Earl Mitchell to lead the way until Reed gets back. On offense, Russell Wilson leading the way with a big new contract. Chris Carson had a terrific season last year running the ball. They're going to try to get him more involved in the passing game. And without Doug Baldwin, Russell Wilson's safety blanket the past few years on offense, they have a new receiver in DK Metcalf out of Ole Miss, who they will look to make an immediate impact for the Seahawks.
Always lots of storylines when you're talking about the Dallas Cowboys. Right out of the gate, head coach Jason Garrett in the final year of his deal. Is Jerry Jones going to bring him back? Well, if he does not take this team far, I'm told Jerry's going to move on, and Jerry will be very interested in bringing in Sean Payton of the Saints, who used to be his offensive coordinator. Can Dak Prescott improve with a new offensive coordinator and a new quarterbacks coach? This is where the Cowboys have got to get better if they want to try and make a run. This team has 10-win talent, but we know talent and on paper means nothing. They've got to go out and show that they can prove it. But it is about trying to get this team offensively more touches and more scores in the red zone if they're going to improve. I'm Newy Scruggs.
Thank you very much to our friends and colleagues around the country for helping us with that segment. Roman, we're going to ask you about games 3 and 4. Jim, we'll start with you. Games 1 and 2, Houston here, Rams on the road in LA. Your thoughts?
Okay, as far as Houston here in the first game in the Dome, everybody's going to be fired up. The players and coaches are always more fired up for that first game. I think Houston's a little bit overrated. I know they made the playoffs last year. I'm not real excited about their quarterback situation, but it's going to be a competitive game. But I don't think there's any way Houston can come into New Orleans and beat the Saints here in that opening game. The Saints are better than Houston is. As far as the Ram game, there's going to be a lot of media talk before the game about last year's game in the playoffs here, when the Rams got that bad no-call deal. So I think that's going to be a lot more media-type talk and fan-type talk than it is as far as, the coaches, we're going to get them back and all that, and the players, we're going to get them back. I don't think that takes place. Am I right?
You are so correct.
Okay, but still it's going to be in the back of their mind. We got to get back at those Rams. It's going to be tough out in L.A., but I think the Saints are going to come through and win the game.
All right, week 3, Roman to Seattle, then right back here for week 4 against the Dallas Cowboys.
Seattle's always a tough environment. The biggest thing is, can they handle that crowd on the road? And also, how are the Saints going to handle staying out there on the West Coast for 2 straight weeks? I think that's the big determining factor. Coming back home against Dallas, I love the Saints at home, prime time. It's Drew Brees, that offense, they always show up and show out on primetime football. And it's all about, can the Saints come out of the first quarter, the first 4 games, being above 500 or 500 or better?
3-1, 4-0, fair to say for the Saints after a first tough month?
It'd be great to start.
All right, I think the Black and Gold Nation, the Who Dat Nation loves hearing that. Stay with us, everyone. Just after the break, we have a very, and I mean very special segment. Coach Jim Mora sits down for a one-on-one with Sean Payton.
It's the Kelly Clarkson Show. No, no, no. No, no, no. The Kelly Clarkson Show! The Kelly Clarkson Show. Wiki. Too much? Little much? The Kelly Clarkson Show. That's
There's always been a Kelly Clarkson Show. Now it's on TV.
The Kelly Clarkson Show.
The Kelly Clarkson Show.
Coming this fall to WDSU.
Dinner time, Drew. You can play with Justin again tomorrow.
Told you moving wouldn't be so bad.
Yep. Later, dude.
Whatever tomorrow's technology, you'll be ready because Cox is building a new gig-speed network to bring New Orleans the internet of the future.
How is Cleco connecting a better future? It starts here, behind the lines. Use the heat from here to make steam and power. Clean power. Louisiana's power. Then bring it to you. When you need it, where you need it. For the good life. This is just one of many Cleco stories happening right now. Cleco, connecting Louisiana's future.
Scandinavia has the perfect opportunity to get out of the heat and into the summertime comfort of Stressless. Earn $100 instantly on every $1,000 you spend. Or save $300 on Stressless Sunrise, featuring innovative ergonomic comfort systems in multiple sizes for personalized fit. Cool deals await you on Stressless, proud to be endorsed by the American Chiropractic Association.
Scandinavia.
On Veterans in Metairie.
Welcome back to our Black and Gold preview. All right, Roman, your specialty, defense. We'll start with the defensive line. No Sheldon Rankins for quite some time. David Onyemata suspended for the first game. Who fills that void?
It's got to be Malcolm Brown. He's the reason why you signed him in this offseason, to come in, add depth, but now you've got to depend on his playmaking ability, which he's shown to be and proven to be able to do on the biggest stage. He's won the Super Bowl in the past. Now, when David Onyemata comes back, we're expecting him to continue to have huge growth. He had a big breakout season last year. He's got to continue to improve on that and show that he's going to be worth the dollars that he's going to command in the near future.
Will Marcus Davenport really step it up in his second year?
He has to. You know, you trade away 2 first-round picks to move up in the draft to get this guy. You understand you're going to have a growth curve because he comes from a small school. Coming into the NFL, you understand that. Cam Jordan, another guy who did not have huge production his rookie year. But next thing you know, the second year comes on, the light switch hits. He's making sacks. Those quarterback pressures turn into quarterback sacks, and you got to see large numbers from Davenport next year.
That secondary played really well last season. How much better will they be with Patrick Robinson in the lineup?
P-Rob's going to come in. He's going to, P.J. Williams also did well in P-Rob's absence last year. P-Rob is a veteran leadership. He's going to be great. The communication has to be on point. At the end of the day, I'm looking forward to what these safeties are going to do. Who's going to step up and be the quarterback of this defense in the back half? That's what I'm looking forward to.
All right, for much more on the Saints, we send it over to Fletcher Mack.
Sharif and Roman, thank you very much. Now it's time for something that we think is very, very special. The 2 winningest head coaches in New Orleans Saints history are, of course, Jim Mora and Sean Payton. Well, last week, Jim Mora sat down with Sean Payton, and for the first time ever, they had an in-depth conversation about all things football.
Okay, here's a question, and I even get this. Do you get tired of people asking you about Drew Brees' age and the strength of his arm and all that kind of stuff? I mean,
I think it's just we're going to get that until we're all retired. I think this. I've said this many a time. When you're around someone, a coach or a player, for as long as we've been together, 13 years now, you don't see imperfections or changes because you see him on a daily. But now when his kids come to practice this week or next week, I'll look and say, holy cow, look how I think that's when we see age, when we see other elements of the family, and you realize, man, I can remember when Balin was this or Bowen was. So yeah, it's like seeing age in ourselves. It's hard to. You don't necessarily see it, and so we really go by what we see, and I love what we're seeing right now.
Good.
And so, you know, we're not talking about planning the next 5 years. We're talking each one of these years is like an eternity, right? You know, it's
yeah.
And this is it. This is the trip we're focused on. This trip.
Right.
We'll worry about the next trip next year, and but he's been. And I think a lot has changed. I mean, what they eat now, you know, we've learned more. I mean, it's no different. I mean, we didn't have sunblock when we were kids, and we'd go out into the heat until our shoulders blistered. Now, you know, they're looking at their dairy, the conditioning, the sleep at night, all of those things. I mean, Archie and I kid, there's pictures of Len Dawson having a cigarette at halftime. I mean, it's just different.
Well, my first venture into pro football was as an assistant coach with the Seahawks, starting back way back, because they were only in their second year, and at halftime they'd go in and smoke. But now Patera, they had to smoke in a certain room, like in the bathroom. They couldn't do it in the locker room, but they'd go and he allowed them a chance to go in and smoke during halftime.
It's different. It's different. And
now I've noticed this about you, and I admire this about you, is that you are familiar with basically the history of the Saints, and you take a real interest in that.
Absolutely.
And why do you do that? And I know that, you know, when I was coaching here, we've got guys in the Wall of Fame and in the pro football, Ricky and Willie and Morton and people like that. And why do you do this, or why do you enjoy it so much? And
I think the most important thing, and I can recall in 2006, our first year here, there were a lot of distractions. Obviously, there's no utopia. When you get hired, there's been a change, and you're trying to create the culture you want and the tradition you want. And before you begin to identify the tradition you're seeking, it's important to identify the tradition that's existed. And not because you're interviewing me, but man, I would always see, it wasn't Bum, but it was Chief, and I'd say, Chief, is this locker room as clean as Moore's? Because I knew you were tough on them. And it was one area that we felt we can really improve on, our alumni. And so, you know, we've got a unique group that sets up a local Saints Hall of Fame, which is a great deal for our players. We recognize them on a weekend. We created a lot of different things, but the communication and the inclusion, and then your own players understanding. Tradition is all those that have come before you.
Yeah.
And then if we're going to go about doing anything, I don't care if it's just setting up the lunchroom, then we want to do it as better than anyone in the league.
Speaking of a young coach, I'm 1-0 on you. I want you to know that. Now, we've never coached against each other, but 1987,
gosh,
the strike, and then we get the scab squads we all had, or replacement teams. That's replacement players. And we were playing the Bears, one of those replacement games. Weren't you the quarterback of the?
Let me fill you in on this game a little bit. So we were all the replacements, and look, we came from everywhere. Arena football. Our right guard was a bartender. And the teams handled it differently. Some teams were more prepared than others. That's the truth.
We were.
Yeah.
Here. Yeah.
And so you guys had won a few games. It was the third game. It was the last game before the strike ended.
Mm-hmm.
And we were down in the Bears practice facility at Hallis Hall, the old practice facility on ESPN. You know, you get this and some of the Saints defenders are coming back this week to play. And I was sitting there next to the quarterbacks, and I was thinking, this isn't good now. The last pass in the game thrown was me to you. So my last professional pass was intercepted in a 2-minute drill by your right corner. And that's when I think at some point Dicka said, you got to get on to your life's work. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, good. All right.
Good memories, though.
Yeah, you bet. Hey, listen, thanks a lot, Sean.
Pleasure. Thank you,
I appreciate you doing it for us, and great luck this season.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Great stuff right there. And still to come, it's prediction time. Find out how we think the New Orleans Saints will do during the 2019 season. Stay with us, everyone. We'll be right back.
first dark cloud appears, before the first drop of rain hits the ground, the WDSU weather team is ahead of the storm with a radar system that sees it coming up to 6 minutes faster, giving you a precise timeline to keep you safe.
I'll let you know when we will have rain and storms in our area.
For immediate weather alerts, when the weather turns, turn to New Orleans' most trusted weather team, WDSU Weather. Live, local, late breaking.
You know the feeling you get when you win at the Fairgrounds Racecourse and Slots, where the slots get hot and the free drinks come ice cold? Don't miss your last chance to earn entries for the Lamarck Motors 2019 Lincoln MKC giveaway being held Saturday, August 3rd. All club members get one free entry, and if you're not a member yet, sign up and we'll refund your losses in free slot play up to $100. Fairgrounds Racecourse and Slots, where playing and winning feels good.
Gulf South Foot and Ankle's Regional Healthcare Group provides advanced techniques in foot and ankle care. With 2 locations and a surgery center, our board-certified podiatrists give patients the much-needed relief they seek for foot pain, ankle breaks and sprains, diabetic specialty care, and emergency matters. Efficient operations allow same and next-day appointments. Gulf South Foot and Ankle, leading the way in next-level care.
It may sound simple, but our goal is to literally get you back on your feet.
It's the Honda Summer Spectacular event, which means more of this. The kind of elation you can only experience after getting a great deal on a Honda Civic or Civic hatchback. Or an Accord. All come standard with the Honda Sensing suite of safety and driver assistive features. And as you can see, all will provide you with plenty of joy. Come be a part of it today.
Get a great deal on the Honda Accord and find your happy place at the Honda Summer Spectacular event.
The state no longer has tax-free days, but we still do. This week at Hurwitz Mints, you'll start with 40 to 60% off, then get a double tax discount and no interest for a year. Only at Hurwitz Mints.
Hancock Whitney White Linen Night returns on Saturday, August 3rd. Dress in your finest white linens and stroll through the Arts District, New Orleans. Experience art, enjoy food and libations, and dance after dark at Hancock Whitney White Linen Night. Sponsored by WDSU.
All right, welcome back, everybody. And the Saints' first preseason game will be inside the Superdome in 8 days when they welcome in the Minnesota Vikings.
That's right. We've talked a lot about the Saints on the field. Right now, let's talk about the 2019 offseason, what the Saints in the organization have accomplished off the field. For more on that, let's go to WDSU sports reporter Carly McCord.
Thank you, Fletcher. Well, as we all know, the league year technically starts in March at the league owners meeting in Phoenix, Arizona, where we were up close and personal and there to hear about the big rules changes. Led by Sean Payton and Gail Benson, the NFL made rule changes to instant replay following the Nola no call.
There's that, owe it to the game that we have responsibility, I think, and really I mean that. So I think we got it right.
And in lighter news, the Saints had their annual softball game, and once again, long snapper Zach Wood is the home run derby champion. And as for contracts, Cam Jordan may be a Saint for life as he signed a $52 million deal. And of course, Michael Thomas becoming one of the richest wide receivers in NFL history. And once again, the Saints Hall of Fame is inviting some star-studded players, including Reggie Bush and Marcus Colston, who are both Super Bowl champions.
Because of the people who've come from all different, walks of life, and we come together and we're able to accomplish this one thing that, what Coach Vitt used to always say is that we're going to walk together forever, and that is true. I couldn't be more proud to go in the draft class with Colston. I have to say this is the most I've ever heard him speak, like literally ever. He's we call his nickname was Quiet Storm for a reason. It's because he didn't talk a whole lot, but he led by example.
Have guys like Reggie that come in as the second pick, and he came in with a work ethic that was second to none. When you can build a roster from top to bottom like that, I mean, this is why you've seen the success over the last 10, 15 years.
Well, Marcus Colston and Reggie Bush are going to be inducted into the Saints Hall of Fame, but also former Governor Kathleen Blanco will be honored as well after she had a huge instrumental role in rebuilding the Superdome after Hurricane Katrina. Guys, we'll go ahead and send it back to you.
All right, Roman, you were teammates with both Reggie and Marcus. It's the 10-year anniversary of the Saints winning the Super Bowl in Miami. What do you remember from that team in that game?
just how close we were, how fun, how much we hung out with each other, the special times that we spent on and off the field, how competitive those practices were. The Friday red zone period where Vilma's going at Sean Payton and all these back and forths, Jeremy Shockey going at Greg Williams. These are the things that we can never take from us. And those are the things that we mostly spend all of our time talking about. Even now the majority of us are retired, we talk about all the great times we had together, and they'll never be able to take what we were able to accomplish away from us, and just the moments like that we'll always cherish, and we'll walk together forever.
Yeah, it was a special moment for the city. Jim, obviously you were working for the NFL Network at that time. Your thoughts when you saw the franchise that you were the head coach of for 11 years, that you're so synonymous with, finally hoist that Lombardi trophy?
Well, I thought back to that and watching the game and watching the outcome and all, how the Saints won, and I thought about, what it must mean to the players and coaches, having never been experienced to that. But I mean, just, we're the best. We're the best in the world. That must have just been tremendous. But the thing that really got to me was what it would mean and what it did mean to the fans and people here in New Orleans. I mean, the stuff they've been through all these years, the good things, the bad things, and how they like to celebrate anyway and have a good time, how they just must be just, after this game, and what they felt like and how they were celebrating and all the good stuff, And I was so thankful for them and what this must mean to them and to the city here.
It was definitely a special moment. We're going to get your thoughts on this season. It's prediction time. What will the Saints record be? Before we hear from Jim, Roman, and Sharif, let's toss things over to WDSU reporter Carly McCord.
Guys, I'm picking the Saints to go 11-5 this season. I think that they will end up in the Super Bowl again. Now, I'm not going to say that they're going to go ahead and win it because I don't know who that opponent is going to be just yet, but I do think that they are there in Miami for the 10th year anniversary. So, guys, what do you have to say?
Carly, thank you very much. Roman, let's start with you. Saints record, how far do they go in the playoffs?
So to win this division, you got to be at least 12-4, 13-3. If they get the first place, if they get home field advantage, they go to the Super Bowl. If they get the second place, I think they may lose one right before the Super Bowl in the NFC Championship.
All right.
All right, Jim, what do you think?
I think they're good enough on paper. I think they're good enough right now, barring what happens during the course of the season, injuries and all that kind of stuff. I think they're good enough to win 13 games. I think they go to the Super Bowl. I think they win it.
Much tougher schedule than last season. I think they go 12-4, win the NFC South, go to the Super Bowl, and win the Super Bowl this season.
All right, much tougher schedule. I agree with Sharif. I'm going 11-5. I think the Saints finish second in the NFC, beat the Bears in the NFC Championship game in Chicago, and then advance to Super Bowl 54. That's going to do it for us. Enjoy the game, everyone. Thank you for watching this special production of WDSU, our Saints on 6 2019 Black and Gold preview. Have a good night, everyone.